Good morning. Blackfire, you're on it, man. You're on it. Your first one again. Oh no. The ads. The ads have struck again. Good morning, Zhang. Mr. Coffee Panda. Okay, I like it. I could get used to that nickname. The Coffee Panda. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Imanian. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. It's unusual for the first people here to be Twitch people. Hmm. Doesn't look like my Discord bot is working. Hold on. We have to do some troubleshooting. Hey, what's up, Arvin? Good to see you, man. How are you? I don't know where. There should be a Discord bot or Discord notification. I don't see one. Okay, give me one sec. I'm trying to figure out why that's not working. Oh, maybe I'm looking at the wrong container. Virgin Discord notification versus Chad YouTube notification. Okay, hold on. Let's see. It says status code 200 YouTube callback handled. There we go. Huh. I'm not sure why it took so long for that notification to come through. Poor Discord peeps had to wait a little bit to be notified. Did you finish the text editor Rust project? It's not finished. It's not finished per se, but it is usable. There's a couple features I need to add to it before I publish it, but it is usable. So this is the app. But like the one big feature I want to add is like whenever you're typing in a file, there's no indication that the file is.
I'd like to say something.
The app is looking good.
Thanks. I appreciate that. The one big issue right now is that it doesn't tell you that it needs to be saved. Like there's no dirty indicator that you have unsaved changes. So I need to add that. Markdown links don't currently work. So if you have something that is a markdown link like this, youtube.com, and then you preview it, nothing happens when you click the link, so I need to fix that. There's a few things that just need to be kind of polished up and touched up on, and I just haven't gotten back to it. Only so many hours in the day, you know. Sorry, I'm trying to do the housekeeping things. See, we're gonna be live for about 2 hours and 45 minutes. All right. Housekeeping has been handled. We have Twitch. We're live on Blue Sky. Discord has been notified. Forget about Rust. Embrace OCaml. Dude, I just spent 30 days learning Rust. Why? How could I just like throw it to the side like that? You know? How could I do Rust like that? Rust doesn't deserve that. Good morning, Josh Galt. What's up, man? Gonna eat lunch to your stream, ETA 20 mics? I don't think that's what mics mean, man. Is it mics like a distance? Ilmani and watching 2 streams at the same time? Oh man, that seems kind of difficult. It seems difficult, but you know, productive. All right, so I figured out my issue from yesterday. I basically started over is what I did. I did not like where I took the data modeling that I did the last couple days, so I just started over. Need to keep my dopamine up. Nice. Arvin, mics equals minutes, clicks equals 500 meters. Oh, really? Oh, I did not know that. I thought mics was also a measure of distance, but I learned something new today. I'm 32 years old, and I didn't know what that word was meant to convey. Steven, when are you going to select the perfect UI framework for this project? I guess when I need to. I think right now I'm leaning towards using Solid.js or whatever their full stack framework is. I think it's called Solid.js. No, not Solid.js. Solid Start, I think is the name of their framework. That's what I'm leaning towards right now. But that might change. That could change. I reserve the right to change my mind. You should do it in Rust and compile it to WebAssembly. No, that doesn't. That does.
Million is telling you to drink some coffee.
That doesn't sound fun. Let's see, Arvin. I'm playing military games and learning military shit while waiting for your American guys Armada to arrive. Is America sending an Armada towards you guys? Is that a thing? I haven't been keeping up with the news myself. Oh no, this is Terminal. This is NeoVim. NeoVim. Okay, so we've got that. We don't really need this open, but we'll keep it open just in case. All right, and I'm gonna make this a little brighter. No, that turns me blue, so I'm gonna leave that off. A few Armadas actually. Oh, I was not aware of this. Interesting. Well, I hope we don't. I hope we don't cause too much ruckus. One is Abe Lincoln, one is George Bush, one is Henry Ford, probably robotic Godzilla as well. Now you're just making shit up. Now you're just being facetious. Okay, so if you guys were here yesterday, Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Bob. If you guys were here yesterday, I was struggling quite a bit with the whole data modeling of this application. So I basically just hit reset yesterday. Actually, the last commit I made on that other branch is kind of funny. Let me see if I can find it. So I started over, for better or worse. I kind of took Bob's advice where I was just trying to do too much. I was trying to boil the ocean, and so I just needed to step back and kind of simplify, you know. Let's see. I think we're here. No. Here? Yeah, this is the one. Is this the one? No. Which branch is it? It must be this one. Yeah. This is this was my last commit message. I was so frustrated at some point yesterday, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm done. This was a bad start. I learned a lot, but this is a bad start. So what I ended up doing now is basically I just focused on getting an institution connected to a user's account. That's all I focused on. And the way I modeled it is basically we have an institution. An institution belongs to a user. An institution has a name that will be set initially by default, but will subsequently allow users to change this. And then the way we're going to support multiple providers of data is we're going to have this metadata class. And this metadata class really is just a shell. All it has is it has a type discriminator so that we can have kind of a polymorphic what I want to say. We can have a polymorphic representation in our code, but in our database we have one flat table. We're just going to keep it simple. And then down here we have a what is it? What did I call it? I called it plaid metadata. And so this is where we're sticking all the plaid specific information. And so I just flattened it. So what I did was I just basically said this object is going to store the details from plaid that we want to keep track of for reference. Most importantly, probably the plaid ID is the most important thing. And then this is where we're also going to store our access token. So the access token that we get from plaid is really associated with an institution. So instead of storing it on a separate object like I was trying to do yesterday, I'm just going to put it right here. And this is basically as complex as I got. And then my business logic for this right now lives in my endpoint, but eventually I'll probably extract that out. So what we do is we basically get the user, we check to see if a user exists already who has this particular plaid institution already associated with their user record. If that user can't be found, obviously we'll say, well, there's a problem here, you're unauthorized. If the user has any institutions that match this query, we're just going to block them. So we're just basically going to say you can only connect an institution once initially to your account. And then going forward, you're going to have to, if you want to make changes to that institution, you're going to have to do that in a separate workflow, which we'll get to later. And then this is the real meat and potatoes of adding the institution. So we talk to the plaid service to get some information. We encrypt the access token that they give us, that plaid gives us back. We create the plaid metadata, create the institution. We add the institution to the user, and then we save all our changes into the database. So right now, I think this is where I'm happy with this. This is what I was struggling with a lot yesterday on stream. The last like 30 minutes was just me blabbering about this, but that's where we ended up. So now what I want to do is I want to implement the actual workflow for connecting an account from the institution. So we just kind of separated things out. We were trying to do way too much on the other branch. Good morning, Rockin' Brain. Good to see you. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, Duck Boy. What's up, Painful Bob? So we have Bob Knoll and we have Painful Bob. And if you think about it, Knoll, Painful, kind of similar. What's for lunch? Yeah, what is for lunch? A turkey-based dish plus rice. What's the turkey-based dish called? Is there protein in it? Is there meat in it? Or is it just rice? Okay, I think we can go ahead and switch to add support for adding connections. Yes. Yes, that's fine. So let's do get status. We're clean. We'll do GHPR create. Add support for connecting accounts. Let's go ahead and merge that into main. Let's rebase. Do we want to delete the branch locally? No, we do not. And then let's check out a new branch. Let's do feature and support for adding accounts. Okay. Also, we must toggle focus mode. I think focus mode looks better.
Did we just become best friends?
Smoke Instan Jayapura. First of all, what a username. Second of all, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Duck Boy, one day we should do a streak of just good morning. We had a lot of good mornings there, didn't we? It's a friendly crowd around here. I don't know how many of you guys grew up going to church or still go to church, but when I was growing up, we went to church quite a bit. I don't go that much as an adult, but one of the things everybody does at church or at the church I went to was there was always this point in every service where you had to like turn and talk, like tell somebody good morning. And it was always the most like awkward / somewhat like wholesome moment. Good morning. Good morning. I'm glad you're here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Uh-oh, I'll have to switch to Twitch. No, Bob, it's okay. Bob, you're unique enough to remain wherever you would like to hang out. YouTube, Twitch, you do you. Let's see, it's cooked rice, turkey meat, pruum as dish /2. I'm not familiar with pruum. What's pruum? Am I missing out? Or did you just misspell that? Should it be prune? Huh. It sounds delicious. I'm a little jealous. It's making me hungry. The one true Bob. There's a reason for switching to Twitch. What's the reason? Well, one true Bob. What's the reason for switching to Twitch? D-Nay. Doesn't Notepad have a security flaw or something? It does. Yeah, it does actually. I posted about that in our Discord. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. It actually has not just like a minor CV too, like a pretty probably the worst kind of CV you can have really. I think if you're building software, which is remote code execution. Here's the CVE. It would have been cool if we could have figured out how to repro it, right? Like on stream. I don't know how you reproduce it. They didn't get into the nitty gritties. But essentially, from what I understand, is basically because Notepad supports Markdown files or editing and opening Markdown files, there was a way that users could craft Markdown files so that there's like a particular link in it. And then when that Markdown file would be open and the user would click on that link, it would basically allow somebody to impersonate that user or that user's privileges on that machine and then run arbitrary code with their basically in that user's persona essentially, which is pretty crazy. Windows is their Trojan horse. Dude, people are vicious, man. People are vicious. But yeah, pretty crazy. Good to see you, Big Blue Heron. Good to see you. The one true Bob, because I'm the one true Bob. Oh, I see. I see what you did there. It has quince as well. What's quince? Arvin, I don't know what any of these words mean, but it sounds your lunch sounds delicious. Quince to me is a brand that sells like clothes and luggage. All right. So we have a connect. Now let's do add. Just kind of the same thing, but since Microsoft started requiring their devs to use AI, their software has been scary. I mean, that we talked about this a little bit yesterday about this, and I hate to say like correlation is not causation, right? So I hate to say that like somehow that CVE was related to the use of AI. I would bet there's a low likelihood that's actually the case. But yeah, it's not a great. It doesn't look super great for your like public narrative, right? And software's hard. That's the other thing. Like people treat like I don't want to dunk on Microsoft because stuff like that happens, and it happens because software is hard. And I'm sure at some point in my career I'm gonna fuck up and I'm gonna do something like that. And the last thing I want is a bunch of people coming for me and trying to paint me in a negative light. But I totally understand your point about like this increased pressure to ship and use AI and write more lines of code, and then you start having issues with your products, and then that doesn't help you. And then at the same time, we talked about yesterday a little bit that Microsoft just announced for like the first time in a while, they created a dedicated high level executive position for quality, or I think they called it engineering quality, which is something that like for the last 2 decades, Microsoft did away with the quality discipline. They basically rolled quality into development essentially. So it's kind of interesting too that now, okay, in this world, there's for whatever reason now seems to be a need for engineering quality. Whether that's related to AI or not, again, it's like only they really know. But yeah, it doesn't look good, in my opinion. It gives people firepower to say things like you said, D, where it gives people the firepower to say, well, I don't know, I guess now because of all this AI slop, they need a quality engineering vice president. I think they admitted that Windows Core is broken. Oh, really? Why, or where did they do that? And what were they saying is broken about it? Microsoft software has been shitty since ever, minus C#. I mean, I guess I don't even know what to say that. I mean, I just think so much of the shittiness is kind of in the eye of the beholder. There's definitely things about Windows that I don't like, but there are things about it that don't bother me and that I enjoy. Like, I mean, that's the thing is like, it's just to me, I'm always suspicious of making like hard and fast, I guess, statements. You know, oftentimes life is way more gray. Jules, is this live or not? Yeah, it's live. Yeah, why? Is something wrong with the stream? Lurk away, Arvin. 2026 is the year of Linux desktop. Oh, for sure. Well, yeah, Linux is definitely having a moment. I mean, when you have PewDiePie making videos about Linux, you for sure have reached an inflection point. Yeah, most definitely. I still the problem with Linux, and I think we've talked about this before, chat. The problem with Linux is still there's a very big cliff that you fall off of after a certain point, right? Like we're like, okay, things work fine, and then the minute things don't work, there's a very deep dark hole that you fall into. It seems like to deal with issues. Every other major release of Windows has been crap since forever. So XP was good. Then it was Windows 7. I was okay with Windows 7. Windows 8 was terrible. They should have never let that thing out of the box. Windows 10 I was fine with. Windows 11 I was fine with. I didn't really use... The first version of Windows I used was 95. But I was so little. So I guess I can't really speak to the earlier eras of Microsoft that much. Have you tried Zig 1.0? I have not tried Zig, but somebody told me that Zig is painful to learn right now because the documentation doesn't line up with the actual source code. Is that still the case? I'm back into chat. Yes, you are, Jules. Yes, you are. Arvin. Hey, Steven, guess what? There's automated quality assurance software that uses Z3. Oh, interesting. So what do they use it for? Bob, good old broom with kinks, I guess. Since Microsoft requiring their devs... Oh, no, we already read that. Let's see, I don't remember. I read it, but it was Windows 11 Shell and Task Manager, File Explorer, and Taskbar restart and shut down, even update, have major bugs. Well, this I believe. I believe that there are major bugs, but I mean, I don't know the piece of software out there on the market that doesn't have bugs, you know? Especially the more complex, right? I mean, the one thing that no one I think gives Windows a lot of credit for is Windows does a really good job with backwards compatibility. I mean, although it's kind of ugly, right? They carry a lot of legacy with them, you know, a lot of legacy to manage, and a very big organization. And I understand why they're everybody's favorite target. You know, can they do better? Yes, for sure. But I'm okay with using their products. Also, I do own shares in Microsoft, so I'm basically a Microsoft shill. Good morning, Inspire. Good morning. Good morning. My real name is Jerome. Well, why is your username Jules if your real name is Jerome? Why not just use your real name? How was yesterday? Yesterday was good. Although so Inspire, I don't know if you were here much yesterday. Yesterday I got really stuck on like this problem of like how I model data in my application, and I figured that out. So we made some progress, but I was frustrated towards the end of yesterday's stream. Let's see. Hey, good morning, Estefanos. Are we all friends here and you are the popular guy rest of us nerds are listening to? I hope not. I hope we can be internet friends. I mean, we're not real life friends. I don't know any of you in real life. This is a parasocial relationship we're having here, but I hope we're all friends. And I would never think of myself as the popular guy. I've always just been the normal guy that tries to treat everybody well. You guys are welcome to come to the Kansas City Developer Conference in the fall and hang out in real life if you guys want. I'll be at the KCDC, Kansas City Developer Conference if you want to come and chill in real life. Happy to hang out. I don't exactly know. The company sells automated quality assurance software support. They bundle Z3 Java API with one of their software packages. Their Z3 Java package is basically one of the primary distributions of Z3 for Java. Huh. Interesting. Super interesting. D, investment to close. Well, yes, but like I guess I would have to consider myself an investor in basically if it's a publicly traded U.S. stock, a publicly traded U.S. company. I guess I would be considered an investor in it because all my investments are in index funds, and most of them are in total stock market index funds in the U.S. Inspire, we got that from the usage of your Microsoft ecosystem. So I don't even need to declare myself a shill. It's just inferred. I see. Jules, let's be friends. Let's play outside. Well, you gotta go. Yeah, I mean, you definitely need to go outside and touch some grass for sure. But we can't be friends because none of us live near each other, so we're stuck with just the stream, the virtual coffee shop here every morning. That's what we have. I started using NeoVim yesterday. It's crazy how much you can learn in one day if you're patient. You learned a lot in one day. I felt like at the end of the first day I didn't know how to code anymore. Let's see, 95 was good, 98 meh. WinME. I didn't ever use WinME. I've never even heard of it. XP was good. Oh, Vista. That's what it was. I missed the Vista one. 7 was good, 8 sucked, 10 was good, 11 sucked. You really think 11 sucks? I kind of like 11. The only thing I don't like about 11 is that I can't move the taskbar around. I don't know why they took that out in Windows 11. Like, just let me put the taskbar at the top of my screen if I want. I don't know why that became Fact Flickr. Which IDE is this? This is NeoVim. So if you're not familiar with NeoVim, this is a terminal-based. It's not really an IDE, or I guess in my thinking, it's not really an IDE. It's more like a text editor, more similar to Visual Studio or Visual. It's more similar to Visual Studio Code than Visual Studio in that sense, but it's basically a version of Vim that's very extensible, and it's a lot of fun to work with. So if you're curious, I will share the link with you. What was your name? Fact Flickr. There you go. I'm actually an AI chatbot. Wonderful, Jerome. Wonderful. Thank you for being honest with us. What if you find out tomorrow that I'm actually your neighbor in disguise? Well, that would be creepy because you should just, if you are my neighbor, you should just be yourself, be normal. Have you ever tried Kimi AI? I have not. I have not tried Kimi K. I have not tried Kimi K. Oh, hell nah. The first person I like to say they like Win 11, please someone make him Linux build or shall I have the honors. I'm not Linux build yet. I do value Linux and I appreciate Linux, but for a daily driver, I haven't yet been Linux build. Ankit, good morning, Ankit. Hi, Stephen. Which headphones do you use? Is it comfortable? I'm considering getting one. So these headphones they're a Sony version, but they're not like the nice fancy Sony ones. Let's see if I can get the model number. These are The WHXB900N. XB. I'm gonna post that in chat real quick. What was your yeah, Inkheat. WHXB900N. They're comfortable. I've had them for I've had them for 4 years now, almost 5 years, and they've held up good. I would love to get a new pair, honestly. But a nice pair of headphones is just so expensive. You know, you're talking like $150, $200, $300. But these do fine. Yeah, these do pretty good. Can you drop your LinkedIn? Yeah, exclamation point LinkedIn, or that will post the link back at you, Fact Flicker, or you can do linkedin.stephenfreeborn.com. So exclamation point LinkedIn or exclamation point LI, and then my bot will respond to you with the link. I recommend daily dosage of 10 minutes Linus talks. Is that what you prescribe? Oh, sorry, guys. It looks like this here. I'll do the command. But don't put a period before don't put a period before it. Just do like this. There you go. We are nearing singularity. You think so? I think we're a ways away from the singularity. Oh, and the message digress has to start with the command. So the command can't just be in the message. The message has to start with the command. I know. You need like a tutorial on how to use my stream commands, but that's how they work. That's how I set them up. Inkheat, yeah, they are quite expensive. They really are, man. They really are. Don't tell Microsoft this, but I use Explorer Patcher to bring back the Windows 10 taskbar. Smart. Smart, Ducky boy. Smart. I haven't used 11. It won't run on my PC, so it sucks. Also requires a Microsoft account now, apparently. And keeps breaking from what I hear. So will it not, Bob? Will it not run on your account because of the... There's some sort of chip requirement or some sort of security related... I forget the name, but there's some sort of hardware requirement for 11, I think. Sweekar, good morning, good morning. What are we doing today? Well, we're going to continue doing what we've been doing the last couple days, is adding support for people to connect their accounts to their accounts in my app, is what we're working on. Their bank accounts to their account in my app. You've now gotten a notif. Inspire viewed your profile now. Oh, well, thanks for doing that, man. Thanks for viewing the profile. Why are we all doing nothing? We're just chatting right now. We're doing something. We're just hanging out. Bob, yes, the hardware restriction. Yeah, they had to upgrade a bunch of laptops where I work. A bunch of people had to turn on their laptops when we did the migration to 11 because their old laptops, I guess, didn't satisfy that requirement. See, I feel like it's a lot similar to learning touch typing. You'll be slower in the beginning, but if you learn it the right way, it will really help you. Oh, for sure. If we're talking about Vim motions, yes. And I think that's why I think the biggest value that using NeoVim has brought me has been Vim motions, for sure. For sure. It's the time of year when I hate winters. Time to migrate. Well, we're kind of nearing the end of our winters here, and we had a day yesterday that was like 70 degrees. I basically just, like, there was a point in the day where I just sat in the middle of my yard in a lawn chair, like a lizard, and just, like, soaked up the sun. It felt so good, man. So I'm looking forward to warmer weather. Sweetheart, what app are you doing? I have not been here for a few days. Oh, no worries. I can give you the lay of the land. So we're basically, if you remember, you may not remember, but maybe you do. So for the longest time, Intuit, well, it was an independent company before it was Intuit, but for the longest time, there was this product called Mint, and Mint was essentially like a free personal finance tool. And one of the best parts about Mint was the fact that you could connect it to your bank accounts. And there's other tools that do this now. I'm just kind of going back in time. But Mint was the first application I really ever used, and I used it from probably, I don't know, 2015. I don't know, probably midway through college I started using it, all the way up until they shut the service down. And I really liked the product. It was very simple to use. It basically served two purposes for me. It let me see all my account information in one pane of glass, and it allowed me to categorize transactions and then track my spending over time. That was all I used it for. And then they shut it down. And so then I moved over to this tool called YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. And this tool's great, but it has way too many bells and whistles for me. I just don't need all the functionality that's in here. Also, it costs $15 a month. So what I'm trying to do is recreate the same basic functionality that Mint had in my own application, right? So it was kind of one of those things where it's like, I know how to build software. I should be able to recreate this experience. I know how to talk to APIs. So that's what we're working on. Bro's living the dream life, one that he created. Me, I'm living the dream life. I don't know if I'm living the dream life, but I am pretty much living my dream life. I have a healthy wife. I have two healthy boys, you know. I'm pretty content. Like if I went tomorrow, like if I passed away tomorrow, I'd be a I'd die a happy man, you know. I got to marry a very nice, wonderful woman. I got to have two beautiful kids. The rest is kind of all icing on the cake now. That's the goal, dude. Yeah, being content is the point. You're right. It is. It is. Being able to figure out when enough is enough. It's hard for a lot of people. And Keith, what about Banks API? Won't it cost you? So I basically right now don't 100% know, Anki. So the Plaid service that I plan on using has sort of like a development. I think they give you 100 accounts for free. And then I think you have to pay a little bit for the usage. But I think I can get away. I think I can get. Basically, my hypothesis is right now that I can get away with doing it cheaper than $15 a month. That's my hypothesis at the moment. So we'll see if that holds true. But that's what I'm thinking. But you are correct. I am having to use a third party service, and in that case, I'm using Plaid. No, don't say you're dying. You coming tomorrow afterwards to stream here? Yes, I will. I don't want to die, but if I was to die, I feel at this point I'm content. I'm content with everything I've accomplished in life. I've lived a good life. I've got to do some cool things. And so if I had to go, you know, I could die a happy man. Hold on, I was gonna look up Plaid's pricing really quick. I gotta blow my nose real quick. All right, let's see. I think the most painful thing about using Plaid as a service is you have to go through like an approval process to even get access, which I'm guessing is because they probably are beholden to like anti-money laundering laws, and they have to practice like know your customer type of practices. So that's probably the most friction that exists. And I think there are some other services out there to do the same type of thing. But this is the one I know will work with all the different accounts that I have. Let's see. I guess I can't see. I guess I can't see on here how much. Learn about this pricing model on Plaid Docs. I don't know. I guess we'll have to get in. I guess we'll just have to start using it and see what what it ends up being. Because right now I'm on the pay-as-you-go plan, so I'm not sure exactly what that'll end up costing me.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, we did. Hazif, thank you so much for subbing, man. We're actually getting some YouTube subs on stream. That hasn't happened in a while. I don't know. I'll have to do some more research on that. I don't see what the estimated cost away. Oh no. I think Twitch just went down. Twitch, no. Come back. It's back. Okay. All right. So what do we need to do here? So we definitely want this endpoint to be protected. So let's write some tests here. Let's see, namespace is going to be physical OS dot API dot test dot integration, and then this should be the add URI, which is actually going to be accounts like that. Should it be an ad? I don't know. Maybe it should just be a post. Let's see. Minimal API map to root or to route of group. To map to the root route of minimal API group, simply use the /. Okay. that. Okay. And then let's add a test here. And let's keep it simple. We'll say add, let's see, async task, add when called without when called, when not logged in. It should return a 401 with problem details. And then we can do something like this where we can say var response equals await client dot host as JSON async. Do that. Give it this. Why is that? Why it won't let me do it as null? How did I do this other places? Basically want this test. Oh, I guess I just had to pass the cancellation token. Cool. So now if we do this .NET test -- filter method. Whoops. .NET test. So this should fail. So expected response status code to be unauthorized but found, not found. Cool. That's what I would expect because we haven't mapped that endpoint. So let's go back over to our endpoint. We're going to call this not map connect endpoint, but map add endpoint. Then we're going to come back to our account extensions. We're going to say accounts group dot map add endpoint like this. You're going to complain. I'll fix this. I will fix you. Dude, Coldplay is such a good band. Right? Isn't that a Coldplay song? I will fix you. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's Coldplay. Write that all out. Run our tests again. So this time it should fail, but it should fail because it receives a 200. Oh, it succeeded. Why did it succeed? No, it should not succeed. Oh, no, it will succeed because the reason why it'll succeed is because this group, you can't see it very well here, this group has authorization by default. So that first test now passes. But if I was to remove this, it would fail. Okay. So now we need to decide what sort of validation we need to do. Well, first we need to decide what we need from the requester to be able to add the account. So let's say...
Did we just become best friends?
Asa, thank you very much for subscribing, man. I really appreciate that. So we say from body request, like this. And this will be called our request. And then we just need to figure out what information. So I think we probably want the Plaid account ID is probably the first thing we want. So let's do this, and we'll do, let's see, Plaid account. Account ID, I think is the first thing we want. This needs to implement, excuse me, validatable object. So what I envision happening here is the user will connect an institution. Then the user will be able to add accounts for that institution. When they click the add account button, they'll get a list of the accounts that are related to that institution, and they'll be able to pick which accounts they want to add. So then when my application makes a request to my backend to add to add the account, I think it's okay to force them to give us both the institution ID and the account ID. So I think what will be okay. Like that. And both of these things should be required. Hey, Kurtz, good morning, good morning. Hello, Slim Shady, good to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. We're just, we're vibing here. We're doing classic vibe coding. This is like retro vibe coding, where you just code for the vibes. You don't actually use the vibes to code. Yeah, it's a different thing. It's a different thing. Let's see. So we'll say if string.is null or empty. And then we'll also have here that, and then we'll just yield return new one. Var field name equals name of Plaid account ID. Just call yourself a trad coder. It's okay. Yes. You said it. I'm a trad coder. Did you guys see? I don't know how many people here are actually fans of the Primeagen, but I very much enjoy his content, and I think he's a pretty seems like a pretty decent human being. But his streams this week, on one of the streams this week, he was wearing a hat that said trad and then a shirt that said coder. I respect it. Let's see. Do name, or sorry, we do field name. And we do this. Do field name. Don't know why AI keeps saying that it wants to kill itself for some reason. Oh, that's weird. What are you talking to your AI about, man? That's shady. Kurtz, you should do the same. Perfect, just like his circles. I actually haven't tried that website. I hate to be a copycat, but draw a perfect circle. Okay, ready? I think the key is here to go fast and draw large circles. Or maybe draw a small circle. I don't know. Here, we'll see. That's actually super, super hard. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Okay, this is a bad idea. Maybe it was the training data that was a problem. I don't know, man. I've never had AI talk to me about those types of thoughts, but maybe try this on your phone. It probably would be easier on my phone, but yeah, I'm utterly failing at this. I mean, the connection to my computer hasn't been great. It's the Bluetooth, okay? It's the Bluetooth. Okay, hold on. What if I do this? Oh, I'm too close to that. Oh, I'm too close to that. Oh, you have to be you have to be so far away from it. Why? Okay, that's hard. I'm very impressed with his 95% circle. How is this worse than your first? I have I have no idea why it's so bad. I have no idea. Please don't judge me. You cannot convert from string. Oh, yeah. I saw someone using an algorithm to make the perfect circle. It was not even a circle, it was a zigzag. Well, that algorithm was a fail. Okay, so we want to make sure we have the Plaid institution and the account ID. And I think that should be enough for us to figure out how to... I think that should be enough for us to figure out how to add the account. We also haven't modeled the account data, but let's add tests for this. So we will say, let's see, fact, public async task, add when called without account, without institution, when called without institution ID or account ID. I almost want to say that we could do... I almost want to say one is enough. I almost want to say account ID is enough. But I think it will save us a query to the database if we have the caller provide it. When called without institution ID or account ID, it should return 400 with problem details. So we will do a similar type of situation, but now we need to say, what do we need to say? We need to say var response equals await client.post async, add URI, request. Oh, actually, we're gonna do this. request, and we're going to use the send async. I'm going to pass the test context.current.cancellation token. And then we're going to say using var request equals new HTTP request message. And this takes the add URI as the first parameter, or no, it takes the method. HTTP method dot post. And then we'll have the add URI. And then here we'll have some content. Var content equals content, or let's do, yeah, content's fine. And then we can do using var content equals new string content, and string content takes like 3 parameters. I think the first parameter, yeah, it's serializer.serialize. That takes, we'll just give it a new anonymous object. Then we'll do the encoding. We'll set that to UTF-8. And then we'll set application JSON. That. And then we want to assert that the response, whoops. In this case, should not
Voltaire's puppet
be.
is reminding you to hydrate.
Thank you, Voltaire. Also, good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well. I did not drink enough water yesterday. So this is going to be a new dictionary of string like this. And then we're going to say, okay, we expect to find in here a key with the name Plaid institution ID. And we also expect one with account ID. Yes, that's right. So then we'll go here, and then the error message should be the Plaid institution ID field is required. Oops. Yeah. So now we'll do, let's see, where are we? It kind of sucks. One thing that I'm struggling with right now in my NeoVim configuration when I write C# is right now my NeoVim configuration doesn't support the new Microsoft testing platform. So like if I try to run this in NeoVim with NeoTest, it's going to fail. But it's only going to fail because the new testing platform works differently than how it used to. Let's see. Show me the error there. Is it TOP? Yeah. See, this is the error that you get now because it doesn't work. It doesn't work like the way NeoTest is expecting it to work. So that's kind of a bummer. So now I have to do everything on the command line if I'm going to work in NeoVim until I can figure out how to fix that. Speaking of Windows XP, Diablo 2 is on Steam now. Nice. Diablo. I was a Diablo player for a little while. Let's see. One failed. Okay. Why did it fail? Expected response status code to be bad request, but found... Oh, yep. I have to set the header, the auth header. And I have a handy way of doing that. So we'll say var jwt equals jwt test or token. Yeah, token builder dot... Did I name it? New. Not new. Dot... with claim, yeah, with claim dot build, and this guy takes a JWT. Is it what is this claim types dot sub? I can't remember the name of this. What is it? There we go. This guy right here. And then we can say using request dot headers dot add. Wait, isn't there a specific one for authentication or authorization? Yeah. Equals new. Bearer JWT. Now let's rerun the test. Still failed. Okay, expected response status code to be status code bad request, but found status code dot okay. Okay, well that's definitely something's wrong here. So something's wrong. So we're binding the request here. We're validating here. There shouldn't be any... That's weird. Good morning, Ryan. Good to see you. Can you test in IPython? What is IPython? Bob Knoll, thinking of Rust, I don't think you used the libraries that make it feel like magic, like Rayon or Clap. I did not use either of those libraries. Rust, Rayon. Let's see. Rayon is a popular also, good morning, Ryan. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Allows you to effortlessly convert sequential iterations into parallel ones using a simple API. Modeling a vector in parallel. So is this kind of like a parallel for each type situation in C#? And then what was the other one you said? Rust, Clap. Let's see, the Clap crate in Rust is a popular library for parsing command line arguments. The recommended way to use it is with the derived parser macro, as it simplifies the code significantly. So this is for building command line tools. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go back and try to. I'll try to see. It's just hard, man. It's hard to carve out the time to build in all these languages, you know. So basically, I need to build something that has the need for parallelism, and then I also need to build something that's a CLI related thing. That's what you're saying. I'm doing great. I fixed all but 21 of the 8700 TS errors in the VS Code extension last night. Well, fantastic, man. Man, 8700. Oh man, that's painful. That's painful. But glad you were able to do that, man. Sounds very productive. Bob, that's overcomplicating. Anywhere where you have iter, you just replace with par iter and it magically splits it across cores. That simple. That is pretty awesome, man. Not 8700, 87,000. Oh boy. You are one disciplined dude. I don't know if I would have had the patience to do that many to fix that many type errors. That doesn't sound fun. I'm trying to figure out why this is failing. So this is failing because it's not returning the request or the status request, I would assume. So I'm gonna open up. We're gonna do it. We're gonna open up VS Code. I forgot what I had up here last time I opened VS Code. What did I have open? Okay, this is fine. This is fine to show on stream. Control B. There you go. Okay, so let's see. What I want to do is I want to debug this one test. So give me the endpoint to endpoint accounts add. Yeah. And then let's just debug. My tiny little window here is kind of doesn't leave much real estate for debugging. Okay, let's look at the request. So it is what I thought. This is empty. And this is also empty. Yeah, so both of those are empty. So why is it... Okay, so it's definitely what I thought, but I don't understand why it's passing validation. I must not have written something right. If string is null or empty, yield return. If string is null or empty, yield return. Is that not how I implemented it on other? Oh, is null or white space. That's why. Good morning, Almighty. You've been adding support for connecting accounts for 5 streams now. Yes, I know. I'm not very productive. I'm not very productive on stream. Expect a response code to be. Did I forget to write that out? I might have forgotten to write that out. Yeah, I'm not very productive. I'm not a very fast. Not very fast developer. I also kind of had a false start on the whole feature because I was not happy with the way I ended up modeling the data, so I kind of hit reset on the whole thing. But you know, I work at my own pace. I don't have any shareholders breathing down my neck. So I can go as slow as I want. Alright, this doesn't make any sense. Why are we not triggering the validation? There's our endpoint. We bind the request, which is good. We have the same setup over here. Is null or white space? Is null or white space? The endpoint is here. This is the right request type. It shouldn't be bypassing that. That's so weird. Let's see. Debug. Hello, Peter. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Peter Bozo. Bozo. I didn't mean to call you a bozo. Bozo. Good to see you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. You know what would make you more productive? More coffee? Yes, more coffee. More caffeine. What's this fact thing? The fact thing is just a way that you declare a test if you're using XUnit in C#.
Voltaire's puppet is telling you to drink some coffee.
Thank you. Thank you, Voltaire. It's very kind of you. All right, I'm stumped. This is like the simplest thing. I've already done this on like 3 different endpoints, and I don't understand why it's not working. Look at some of these other ones. So we have our login request. It has the same thing, is null or white space, yield return, new validation results. And then in the login endpoint, we're just binding to it from the body. Doesn't make any sense. Let's see, what if I just do this? We'll just return a new anonymous object, and we'll do request dot. Peter, I'm new here. What are we doing? Well, we're glad you're here, Peter. I am trying, or I shouldn't say we, but I am trying to build a personal finance app. And right now, specifically, what I'm trying to do is write a unit test for a new endpoint I'm adding, or an integration test for a new endpoint I'm adding. And right now, my integration test is failing or is succeeding when it should be failing. Or I guess it should be failing when it should be succeeding. Yeah, failing when it should be succeeding, but it's failing because the request is succeeding, but the request shouldn't be succeeding. And I can't figure out why that's the case. Let's go over here. Let's open Postman. Let's see, I got to try test for the first time ever. I hate Chai with the burning passion of 1,000 suns. What do you mean ESLint doesn't like any of the test files? Yeah, there it's uh, uh, welcome. I can't even make any excuses. It's just that like welcome to JavaScript. Welcome to the JavaScript ecosystem. Uh, it is a hellscape, and we've all accepted it for the hellscape it is. No, it's not really that bad, but it does have its rough edges. Let's see. We're gonna inherit the auth. That's fine. Let's see. We need to have a body. Let's do raw. Let's give it an empty JSON body. Let's do the login. Oh, I need to run the application first. The test succeeded unsuccessfully. Yes, the test succeeded unsuccessfully. Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. It's funny. Let's see, login. What do you mean? Oh shoot, I don't have a user anymore. Hold on. Hold on. We gotta. I dropped yesterday when I reset the when I abandoned ship on the old branch. I had to drop the database and I lost my user account that I set up. So we gotta add a new user real quick. So I'm gonna generate a user. Enter the username. The username is going to be Steven. The password is going to be super secret password. Okay, now we're going to run the API again. Try one more time. Let's see, could the reason it's passing when G should be failing is because you're passing an auth token with all the requests? Well, I am passing an auth token, but I think that if I don't pass the auth token, then I run into 401. So I do want to get past the authentication check that happens as part of the ASP.NET Core middleware. I want to get past that, but then I want to hit the validation that's built into ASP.NET Core, or I guess built into minimal APIs. I want to hit the validation that's already there. And right now, for whatever reason, that validation seems to not be being hit. And that's what has me stumped, because the validation works everywhere else. Super secret password. I wonder if I didn't type the password right when I added the user. Oh shit. Hold on, let me see. This is working yesterday. Let me open up the database. Now we all know. Yeah, don't you guys go around trying to... You guys need to be nice, okay? Be kind. We're friends. Don't y'all be going around trying to hack my accounts. Do not do it.
Did we just become best friends?
Synchronized, thanks for the sub, man. Appreciate you. Let's see, we have my hash password in there, right? Yeah, it's right there. So I guess let's delete this guy for a sec. Just double check that I did in fact. Let's see, delete this. Write the changes. We need a new terminal. So we go physical OS. We do .NET CLI. We want to create a user, Steven, super, hold on, I'm just going to do a stupid password. Which also is, there's some validation I need to add to that to force passwords to be a certain complexity. There we go. Okay, so now that's set. Now we need to try this endpoint. So this says not found. Oh, yep, it's not found because that does not exist. 200, okay. Ah, what is happening? This doesn't make any sense. I do not understand at all. This doesn't make any sense to me. Map add endpoint. We have map add endpoint. Is this just an order of mapping situation, maybe? This does not make any sense to me. It's not okay for it to be okay. Exactly. It's not okay. It should not be returning 200. It should definitely be saying, hey, you gave me some empty information. You get a 401. Or no, you get a 400. And I don't understand why it's not doing that. It's almost like the validation isn't being triggered. Because I think if I was to update my code to do the validation manually, I think it would fail. So let's try that. I shouldn't need to do this. This should just work. But let's say if I do var is valid request dot is dot validate like this, new validation context. What do you take? I forget how to do that. How do I do that? Are you on Arch, by the way? No, I'm not. I'm on Windows 11. But you probably can't tell it's Windows 11 because I have the taskbar cropped. But yeah, chat loves to shit on me because I use Windows 11, which is fine. It's their right. I get it. I'm a Windows boy. They're allowed to bully me. Good times, good times. What am I looking? Oh, I'm looking for this guy here. So, source, server, payments. Yeah, this is what I want to do that. Okay. So do pass in the request and then say errors, and if errors dot any, then we can say return results dot bad request. Let's restart the application. And then let's give it another. I'm so confused. I don't understand. How is that possible? Okay, I'm overlooking something very, very simple, and I don't know what it is. So let's just go one line at a time. So let's go to this definition. We have a request. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, this is a weird thing about the validation support in minimal APIs. The validation uses a source generator, as I understand it. And in order for the validation to work, this right here must be public. This is I've been bitten by this 10 times now. Across like 4 different projects. So that must be public. So if we go back to our endpoint, we don't really need, I guess, hold on, let's stop the application now. We don't need this because now my test will pass. So we'll do test. Now my test should succeed unsuccessfully, or should unsuccessfully succeed. There we go. Right here. See? Ignore the errors. The errors are just saying that certain projects didn't have tests in it. But what we care about is this one right here. Total ran, 1 succeeded. Wonderful. Dude, that was frustrating. Okay. So let's add a couple other tests. There's a couple other scenarios that we need to make sure we validate. So we'll just do a little copy pasta job here. We could make this a data-driven test, but I'm not going to do that because copy paste is probably actually faster. So when called without institution, so what we'll do is we'll go into the object that we're going to send, and we'll say, okay, what if I give you a Plaid account ID that's made up? And then we also need to have the same test, but just the other side of it. So we got when called without account ID, like that. And then we'll do Plaid account ID equals account, or no, Plaid institution ID. Let's also make these camel case. I hate that it's jumping to the end of the line like that. There you go. Okay, well now we'll run again. But let's just do when called with institution ID. Feels good to see someone writing code by hand. So do you never use AI for work? That's so funny. Yeah, it's crazy that like using AI not using AI while you're coding has become this phenomenon. When it used to be writing code with AI was the phenomenon, right? It's kind of funny how fast that changed. I mean, that literally changed within like an 18-month time span. Let's see. It should contain. Oh, yep. But to answer your question of Ramad, I do use AI. I just haven't been using AI much to author code lately. And the reason for that is more of my own anxiety around I guess my own anxiety around this should be when called without account ID. Oh, that should be account ID. My own anxiety around the fact that I think over relying on AI makes me a worse engineer to some extent. And I know that's probably not true for everybody. It's also probably not true for people who are very senior in their career. They've probably achieved some level of mastery where they don't really need to concern themselves with that too much. But I just got to this point where, like, the more I used AI to write code, whenever I would stop using AI, whenever I would stop using the AI to write code, I would feel like things that should have been easy were now hard, and I didn't like that feeling. And that's more of, when I say using AI to write code, that's much more of like tab completion. And then whenever I tried to do like agentic development, which seems to be all the rage right now, I just didn't have fun. Like, I found it boring. I just would rather go lift weights than sit here and watch an AI generate code and then me review the code and then me tell it what's wrong. And then, so that's where I'm at. It's my own personal journey with AI. It's not a condemnation or a recommendation for what other people should do. It's just what I'm doing. Shouting kebab case is the only proper casing for coding. Tired of, nice to see you. What happened to the Rusty Endeavor? Hello, Tired of. The Rusty Endeavor went well. Yeah, we finished Rustlings. I have a really nice little notepad application that I built with it called Zoae, I think is how you say that name. It basically means like baby crab, which I thought was a good play on words. But yeah, we have a little nice notepad application that we built. There's a few things we still have to tinker with it, but it does the job. We can do the coolest thing it probably does is it allows you to do markdown previewing and markdown editing. So let me see if I can show that off real quick. Files, example blocks. Here you go. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't want to open that file because it's not on disk. Do I have something else I can open in Markdown? Hold on, let me see. I was trying to find a Markdown file that like has some content in it that would look good to preview. Let's see. Yeah, this would look good. Yeah, so like here's a big old Markdown file, big old README file for an SDK that I built. And then you can do Control P, and it will render you some Markdown. Obviously, not always the prettiest, but yeah, it was good. It was good, Tired of. We had a lot of fun. But I was ready to get back to C# land. I'm happy to be back. Well, that is entirely better than Windows Notepad with embedded AI. Well, it's definitely not a parody to Notepad in terms of features, but it's a nice little tool, you know. It was a good excuse to learn Rust. For sure. Let's see, Ramdes. Fair enough. I can relate with that anxiety feeling. I've been allocating specific days where I just turn off AI completely, trying to keep my mind sharp. Good luck on your journey, man. Thank you, dude. You too. And I think that sounds like a great strategy, is trying to find a happy balance between letting AI kind of do everything for you, right? And also being able to leverage AI in a way that's helpful. I think right now, one of the things that I think is kind of a perniciously sneaky thing that's happening to the engineering community right now is you have this huge. So 24 months ago, if you used AI to code, you were sort of looked at like a cheater, in my opinion, by the engineering community. Now, 24 months later, it's like you're not an engineer if you don't use AI to code. And I think part of that switch is because there's a lot of engineers who work at a lot of companies who have made deep investments into AI. And I think a lot of those engineers have career incentment. Incentment, is that a word? They're incentivized. They've been incentivized in their careers to be the AI engineer, right? Because there is a path. If they are pro AI and they can demonstrate the value of AI, they are going to receive a lot of career advancement and a lot of positive recognition within their organizations and outside their organizations. So I think there's this very weird undertone right now where I'm suspicious that some of the people who are advocating for the use of AI tools, it's somewhat coming from a disingenuous, not just disingenuous, but what's the term? They're conflicted. They're conflicted, right? It's like, well, do you really believe in AI because you believe in AI, or do you really believe in AI because you feel like that will help you advance in your chosen career, profession, organization at this particular moment? So it'll be interesting to see in another 24 months where everybody's at, because I think the AI cycle is currently reaching the end of its height, in my opinion. There's been like 20 something data centers canceled. Yeah, I think people are coming around to their senses a little bit about the capital investment versus the return on that investment isn't going to be what they thought it was going to be, in my opinion. They believe in AI because if they don't get money. Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to say, Ryan. You said you said it so much more succinctly than what I was trying to say, but that's exactly what I was trying to say, is that, like, I feel like there's a very big, large group of the engineering population, especially thought leaders who work at extremely large companies that have extremely large bets on AI. And so they can't really be anything other than pro AI because that's kind of what's being shoved down their throats by their organizations, and it's kind of what's being forced of them if they want to advance. Like, I can't imagine anybody right now in the Microsoft organization doing well from a career perspective if you're not unadulteratedly pro AI, right? And I think you would probably end up hurting yourself if you were critical of it. Same thing with Anthropic, same thing with OpenAI, if you're working at Cursor, if you're working at Cloudflare, all these organizations, like, I don't think you can work in those organizations and publicly be critical of it and expect yourself to rise through the ranks. That's the underbelly of the professional world nobody talks about. I completely lost the thread on what I was trying to do. So I'm at the point now where I have a valid request. And so what I need to do now is I need to get the current user. So I need to do this. Let's see, you're going to see another 1980s AI bubble in the next 5 to 10 years. I think we're going to see the bubble pop, I think, is what we're going to see, in my opinion. And by pop, I just mean the technology is going to remain, but I think you're going to see a lot of economic value be destroyed because I think it's been over. I think the return of what the investment into AI was supposed to bring is not going to end up materializing, you know? That's what I meant. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. the technology will be here, right? Like in 10, 20 years, we'll still be working with LLMs. We'll still be finding ways to make these models better and use them more effectively. But there's going to be some economic pain before we get over this hump. What was it like? They asked Dimas. It was Dimas Hassabis and Dario from Anthropic. They were both being interviewed at Davos, and the interviewer was like, "Okay, so what's the or how long till we get to AGI or something like that?" And I think Dario was like, "We're gonna get there in the next 24 months or something like that." He said something crazy with a lot of confidence. And then Dimas Hassabis was like, "I don't know, it's like 50-50 if we get there in the next decade," or something like. He said, I don't want to quote them exactly, but like Dario's prediction was like holy like hype bro esque, and then Dimas Hassabis was like very measured, right? And if I had to pick somebody in the AI space that I actually listen to or pay attention to, it's Dimas Hassabis. Like if there is a guy that I think is actually gonna bring AGI into the world, it's him. Because to me, he is still a scientist first and a business person second. And I think everybody else in the space has largely just become focused on the value creation of AI, whereas I think Dimas Hassabis is still focused on the hard problems, the hard research. And so if I had to bet, it's going to be his group that largely makes the next big advancements in the field. If I had to put money on it, that's who I would bet on. What was better about the 1980s AI bubble is that everyone used Lisp. Well, now nobody uses Lisp. I'm just kidding. Don't send the Lisp mob after me. Okay, so we have our user ID. Now what we should do is we should do some validation. So if a user has already previously connected an account, they shouldn't be able to reconnect it, basically. So we should do a query into the database for that account. So we should basically check to see if the account already exists. If the Plaid, the important piece there is the Plaid account already exists. So then we'll say var, we'll do this through the user query. So we'll say db context, we'll say app db context equals app db, or is called app db context, and this will be dot users dot include dot then include So what this will end up looking like is we should have something like this, where we have dot first user u dot id equals user id, and then we should also get the cancellation token. Pass that along here. Okay, so we need some other query here. This is going to end up being something like this, where it's like then include u dot accounts, and then include a dot metadata, like that. So there's going to be there's going to be a where clause on here, and that where clause is going to be something where it's like a dot metadata is what? Is Plaid account metadata, I think, what we call it. And then we'll cast that Plaid I think I'm typing. This is some wishful programming. I don't actually know this is what the code is, but this is kind of what I want the code to look like whenever we get here. So basically, we'll do a query for a user that has an account, and that account's Plaid account ID matches the ID that we've already gotten. And if that is the case, that means we have a user who matches that criteria. And then we'll also check and see is the accounts thing populated, right? Because then it should mean there should be one account that matches that query based on the where clause. And if that's the case, then we know, hey, we have a conflict here. You're trying to connect account that you've already connected. We're not going to do that. That's a mistake. So now we need to go fulfill this. We need to actually go make this a thing, because right now it's not a thing. So we'll add a new account.cs and account.metadata.cs. I don't know. What's another name for an account? What's a synonym for account? Let's see, why not the Plaid key a unique key in the DB? See what was better about the Plaid key will be a unique key in the DB. It will be. It's just going to be a nested property. So basically, the way I have the database structured is I have these domain tables, which are my models that belong to my application. But some of those models are going to have provider data that I want to store, right? So like for right now, the provider data is Plaid, but it could change in the future. So the way I modeled this in the database is I have separate tables for that metadata. And those separate entries of metadata are related back to their parent account record. So you essentially have like account object that's agnostic to wherever the data originated from, and then there's a relationship to a particular metadata entry that gives additional kind of like, it's almost like a grab bag of like other information that's not really related to my domain. That way, if I ever switch out the provider from Plaid to something else, it doesn't. It's trivial. I just add a new type, add a new metadata type, and put it whatever data I need in there, and can move on with my life. Hey, good morning, Uncle Pee-wee. Good to see you. I don't know if I'm funny. I wish I was funnier, because after watching the Primeagen streams all week and laughing a lot, I wish I was funnier. But that's not really my personality is just much more of a serious personality, I think, you know. I can be fun, but I'm not particularly funny. So this will be physicalOS.core.accounts. This will be a public sealed class. That is an entity like this. and then gonna have a similar thing over here. Only this is going to be abstract. This is an abstract class. It's going to have a private backing field, private string type, private read-only. And then it's going to have a public string property called type that just returns that backing field. And then we're going to require that that backing field be set. I don't think this really needs to be protected, but we will make it protected. So we'll say string type that underscore type equals type. Okay, and then we'll come down to, oh, so then the account, yeah, account metadata, that's fine. It also needs a public GUID. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It just needs this. And then this guy is going to have a public string name. It's also going to have a public. It probably should be tied to the institution. So. Well, I don't know if I need navigation property. I definitely need a navigation property to the count metadata. Getter, knitter, and this is going to be like this. Yeah. Then we'll come down here to the infra project, and we'll add a plaid account metadata. CS. Yo, good to see you. Good to see you too, man. How are you doing? It must be that time of the morning, huh? I got you. My thought is that every provider will have a unique identifier for each account, so you just map that to a field in the user table. Yes. Each provider will have a unique identifier for each account. They will. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll keep track. I will keep track of that. Let's see. Yes, this. No. This. Public sealed class. Plaid metadata. Inherits from, or sorry. And then this is super easy because we can just do this. Oh, actually, hold on. We should turn this into a class. Let's do, I don't know why that's there. Providers.cs namespace physical os dot infra dot accounts. I'll do public stat. Actually, this can be internal. Internal static class. Should it be? No, let's make it public because somebody else might want to use this. It's fine. So we'll do public static class. Somebody else. What I mean by that is me. I might want to use this. So public static class providers, and then we'll do public const string plaid. Which we can then come here, and instead of having the type that, no, this is fine. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do providers dot plaid. Do the same thing here. Public const string value type plaid. I don't know if this indirection is really valuable, but value type. I don't know if I like. I don't know if I like the naming convention I started there, but we're just gonna live with it for now. Okay, and then this is where now in this metadata object, this is where we're going to say what we want to store here. So for accounts, we need to store the public string plaid account ID. And then we also need to store the public string plaid account name. And I think that might be it to start with. I don't even remember what the account object looks like now. I should have saved a copy of it. Let's see, plaid API docs. So yeah, we have account ID. Oh, we need to represent balances too. That's something we haven't done yet. We need to do that at some point. So we have a balance object, mask. Oh, the mask would be good. The last 2 to 4 alphabetical characters of either the account's displayed mask. We should keep a hold of that. Name of the account either assigned by the user or by the financial institution itself. The official name of the account given by the financial institution. Investment account. The type would be good probably to keep. But I haven't done enough research to figure. I haven't done enough research into the plaid docs to figure out what all the types mean and how I want to represent them and stuff. So I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. I think that's good. ID and name is probably fine to start with, and then we can add additional information. Interesting. They give you back the auth information. You get the request ID. Okay. Yeah, that's fine for now. Great. So now what, Stephen? Now we have to model this in our DB context. Is it really 6:30? Oh, I guess it is. Let's see. DB context. All right, so we need to basically do a similar thing that we did with institution. So let's copy this. And let's rinse and repeat. There aren't many high-level GUI libraries I can find in C++. I don't. That's not my world at all. So I'm hopelessly unhelpful. Unfortunately. We are using this guy. So that's our account. So our account has a name. Our account has one metadata, but it's not institution metadata. It's account metadata. It needs an institution ID. It doesn't have an institution ID at the moment. This is going to be our account metadata. Now our account metadata has a discriminator. It is typed. This should be like that. So yeah, okay, so that code I wrote is wrong. This should be type value. And then this again will be, you've got an account ID, you've got a type, and this will be a plaid account metadata. Its base type is account metadata. Plaid account ID. Oh, that actually makes way more sense to do that. Don't prefix it with the. We're already in an account metadata object. We don't need to also say this is the account name, the account ID. We can just say this is the plaid ID. That makes more sense. And then up here, similar to what we did here, we're going to have one of these. But this is going to be account metadata. Like that. Come down here. Now everybody should be happy. So let's give this a once over so we have an account. Our account has one metadata. It has a foreign key from the metadata back to the account with the account ID property. The account metadata is essentially a polymorphic table. So it has a discriminator, which is its type. Currently, we just have one variant of this thing, which is the plaid account metadata. It has an account ID prop. It has a type prop. It has a plaid ID, and then the plaid account metadata has a base type that relates to the account metadata type. We have a plaid ID property, plaid name property. That all looks correct. The one thing I think we're missing, though, is that just like with an institution, an account should belong to a user, right? And an account should belong to an institution. In our database, that is. Yeah. And so then what we can do is we can come to our user class. And similar to what we did with institutions, we can say, I mean, I guess this is where we kind of have a decision to make, right? Like when we query the user, do we always want to have to reach through the user to the institutions and then through to the accounts, or do we want to be able just to get the account directly? Yeah, I think in most cases, I mean, I guess it all depends on just how what our business logic's going to end up looking like. But I think for simplicity's sake, it's probably much easier just to per, hmm. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is there. I guess based on the code I wrote earlier, excuse me, based on the code I wrote earlier, my assumption was the user accounts will just be exposed directly. That was my assumption here. Which is probably fine, right? Famous last words. It's probably fine. Yeah, I'll just do that. So we'll go back down here to our DB context. Do this. It's interesting though. If I delete a user, I want to delete the institutions. I don't know if this will cause a conflict. Okay, so go to the user. And we'll say, give me one of these, but for accounts. Oh yeah, getting those reps in day. I am getting those reps in, man. Every day. Every day. Every day we be getting those reps in. Small steps climb mountains, you know what I mean? Although I tell you what, I understand people who don't enjoy the toil of coding, and that's why they're so excited about AI. But like I kind of like the toil, man. I will happily sit here at my computer and toil. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to think through these things and to think through what the right approach is for doing this and that, and considering the different trade-offs. And I think it's fun. It's like doing a puzzle, you know? Maybe the shareholders aren't happy about it, but fuck the shareholders. He says as he invests in stocks every 2 weeks. Okay. I might just move to Billy Bill. I don't even know what that is. Aerobic. Also, I'm sorry I missed your message. Good morning. They put a live short section in YouTube now. Did they really? Wow. Talk about pushing live streams. That's intense. How do you get to it? Like on the mobile app, you're meaning? Huh. Maybe I need to update my phone or update my app because I don't see it. Does your company use a CDN? I actually don't know, and I hate to talk too much in detail about our infra, you know? Try to keep the good separation of the church and state. I'm guessing, like, I'm just going to say that I would guess most organizations probably use some version of a CDN. I'm about to get into some toil for the fitness app I'm working on. I ended up securing 2 interviews today. Congratulations on the interviews, man. And the fitness app sounds like fun. Tell me about this fitness app. I have lots of opinions about fitness apps, but I'm always excited to hear about a new one. Yeah, I don't see the live streaming section on YouTube, but that's interesting if they actually did that. I mean, it's very clear that they are pushing live vertical video. Just casually browse the home feed there, and should or might be a live short section. Okay. Uncle P, I found your stream via the short section. Nice. Well, yeah, there. I mean, it's definitely. It seems like if you want to grow a stream in 2026, or if you want to grow a channel in general on YouTube in 2026, you're going to have to embrace some form of vertical video because the algorithm just doesn't give a shit anymore about horizontal video. It just really doesn't. And it's very disincentivizing to creators because horizontal videos, longer form videos take a lot of effort and they get a fraction of the views, which is unfortunate because I do like horizontal long form video, but just I think it's hard for creators to justify putting time into that type of work and it not pay off the same way, right? You're fighting an uphill battle, right? You're basically trying to fight against the algorithm. Okay, and then I think what I'm going to do on the account is instead of having an institution, I don't know. I guess there's two ways to think of this. An institution can get a list of its accounts, and an account can get its institution. And I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how I want to expose that. I think for right now, I'm just going to represent it on the account level. So I'm going to say, where am I going to say this? I'm going to do something like this. And I'm going to say a dot yeah, I guess I do need to do it. A dot institution. Which I don't have yet. I mainly do body weight YouTube workouts. I made it mainly for me. You get a GitHub-like activity grid. It updates when you log a workout. And then I have a section to add video links. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I have a nice little regex that pulls the thumbnails off the vids. That's very, very cool. Yeah, I love that, man. Okay, this is going to be... Let's see. With one. So an account has one institution. Let's go and just, I guess, put that on the account. It's interesting. I guess I'll just model the whole thing, I guess. That's fine. let's just do that. So we'll go to institution, and we'll say we'll basically do the same thing we did on the user object, and we'll say I don't like how do I let's see. Let's use some AI
Did we
because
just
I'm not
become best friends?
We did. Thank you very much for the sub. Who was it? Some name I couldn't pronounce. I apologize. But thank you very much for the sub. It's very kind of you. I like seeing the squares light up when I commit code. Turns out it keeps me working out too. That's awesome, dude. Wonderful. ByteCube, what level should I need to be to understand what you're doing? I don't even know what levels are, man. I don't know how you would apply levels to this. And really, I'm not doing anything terribly complex. All I'm trying to do at the moment is model the way I'm trying to use my code to model how I want to store data in the database and how I want to represent relationships in my code to those entities. And all of it is very specific to Entity Framework. So regardless of like how good of a software engineer developer you are, if you're not familiar with Entity Framework, then it's going to seem kind of opaque, right? But that's all I'm doing is I'm just using an ORM, in this case Entity Framework, to model with code how I want my data to look in the database. And that's all I'm doing at the moment. But what I'm trying to figure out is I basically, let's see, I'm using Entity Framework. I have an account entity that can have a single institution that it is related to. How do I represent that in a Fluent API configuration? Uncle P, are you SWE1 or higher? I'm SWE1. I honestly don't know because our company doesn't really have levels. We just have junior, like, I think the levels where I work is just junior, and then like if you're a junior engineer and then you're an engineer and then you're a senior engineer, and I don't know how those would map onto levels in like the big tech sphere. I'm not sure how that would broach, but I wouldn't consider myself to be like a super advanced. Like I've only been coding for seriously for like 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. So I wouldn't consider myself super advanced. I've got still a long way to go and lots of learning to do. Okay, so it has one. So account has one institution with many accounts. Has foreign key. Institution ID. Let's see. Is there any way to model this without having navigational properties on the institution model? I think for the most part, the access pattern would just be account would be just be getting the institution from the account. Hey, good morning, Artwork Studios. Good to see you. Today was my first day as PA system worker. Today was training because the second day we have to do it all by ourselves. Well, that's exciting, dude. So you can absolutely do this without including a collection of accounts. In this setup, the account knows about its institution, but the institution remains clean, has no knowledge. Okay, updated entity models. So we put account, institution ID, institution. Yep. Now the Fluent configuration looks like what? Yes, that's what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. So I was close. I was close. Oh, I haven't defined that. Whoopsies. Account, and then we're going to say you have a public institution, and we'll just call it institution. Have a getter and a knitter, and you cannot be null. I don't know why I always want to go back through NeoTree to get to the files. I should just use the telescope picker more. Dot with mini, yep. And then has foreign key. And now we're happy. Right? Yep, now we're happy. Booyah. And then if we come back up to our endpoint, let's uncomment these. We should be able to say use pattern matching. I don't think you can use pattern matching here. Can you? Hold on. Why can you use pattern? Why am I allowed to use pattern matching there? See, that's what I thought. You can't use pattern matching there. Or can you? That's what see, this is, you can't do that. Should be plaid ID. Okay, cool. So now we've got our query. It's a kind of a nasty query, but it works. I promise it works. So we get the user, then we also include the user's accounts, but we filter those accounts to only those accounts whose associated plaid ID equals the one in the request. And then we also include that metadata. And then we get the user. So first things first, if the user is null, well, now we have a problem. This is something has happened, right? Something between here, or something between the token being issued, like the JWT, might be still a valid JWT, but the user doesn't exist in the database. I don't know, something weird's going on. But we should deal with that and say results.unauthorized. And then we'll check here, we'll say, hey, if this user.accounts oh, we have to await it. can say user.accounts.any, right? If there's anything there, well, that means that there's an existing account, in which case we have a conflict according to my application, and you cannot do that. That is a big no-no. And then here, this is new account, so we should add it to the database. Ivan McGuire, is this Rust? No, this is C#. I was on a little bit of a Rust journey, Iva, in what was it? January? Yeah, through January I was on a Rust journey, but we've since completed the Rust journey, and now we're in our safe and familiar home of .NET. It's C#. Yeah, it's C#. It is a C#. Okay. Question now. What do we do? How do we test this? We're gonna have to do we're gonna have to do some setup in our database to integration test this. So we'll need to make sure we create a user. We'll need to make sure we create an account, and that account needs to have its Plaid ID set to the same thing that's in the incoming request, so that we can verify this line of logic. And we should also verify this line of logic too. Yeah. It would actually be nice if we could somehow encapsulate this chunk of code into a reusable piece of logic, because this is going to happen a lot in this application where we are hitting an endpoint. We need to look up the user from its ID, right? This is going to happen a lot. So we should probably think of a way to do this in one place and allow this to be passed in, right? So basically somehow allow the caller to provide either a dynamic query that they can append when they look up the user, or just get the user, right? Because this is going to be annoying to have to remember to do again and again and again and again. See Artwork Studios? It's getting close to 7 to me, so I might. It's like 50-50 if I'm here when you get back. Unfortunately, the day job calls. Unfortunately. See you, Artwork Studios. Have a good day, man. All right. So let's add a test for called without institution, called without account ID. I think I actually have a very similar test to this over here, where we call without public, called without Plaid. Yeah, there we go. Called with non-existent user. This is the one we want right here. Okay, so if you give me a call with a non-existent user, when called with non-existent user, it should return 401 with problem details. We get the JWT. We create our JSON, which in this case is going to be Plaid account ID equals ID. We send that through. I'm going to use the add URI. Yep, that looks good. Oh, we also need to, the thing we haven't done yet is we need to create a migration. So we need to do .NET EF database, or no, migrations. Migrations, add account and metadata. When do you start your coding session? Oh, hey, Sam DDev. I usually start coding about 4:15 in the morning. I try to wake up at 4, and then my feet hit the floor. I hurry up and get out of the bedroom so I don't wake up my wife. Hit the kitchen, pull a shot of espresso, and then run down to the desk. And so hopefully I try to get live like by 4:15 is my goal each morning. And then I usually stream till about 7 because then I have to do normal everyday people's stuff like see my kids out to school and go to work. But it allows me to get a good 2.5 hours solid of, working on some side projects in the morning and talking to you guys and hanging out and stuff. So it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's become a really nice part of my routine. And I've learned a ton. That's the other thing. The thing about streaming that no one really tells you is like, I've actually think I've benefited the most from chat, from streaming, because I've learned about so many things. I've gotten to like be caught up on a lot of stuff that I would never know about otherwise. So it's been beneficial to me, and I'm gonna keep doing it. No more YouTubing out. Yeah. Let's see. What time do you go to sleep? Typically, I'll go to sleep. Like last night, I think I went to bed at like 9:30, 10 or something like that. I try to be, if I'm gonna stream the next morning, like I can't stay up to past probably 10. If I stay up past 10, it's really, really difficult to get up the next morning. I will still get up, but it's painful, and it's also not good for me. So, sleep is important in that way. Let's say .NET EF database update. But yeah, somewhere between 8 and 10 is what I aim for. Let's see, did the database succeed? It did. So I guess let's try to run our test. Let's just run all of our tests. See what happens. Hopefully they all succeed. All right, somebody did not succeed. Let's see. Expected response status code, unauthorized error, but found HTTP internal server error, failed with 1 error. When called with non-existent user, it should return 401 with problem details. So why am I getting a 500? I don't know. That's why we have a debugger. When called with non-existent user. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to run that. I meant to debug that. Whoopsies. Dude, I really appreciate the fact that you can debug in NeoVim. Well, I can't debug C# code in NeoVim on this project right now, but I appreciate the fact that you can do debugging in NeoVim. But there's nothing like a GUI. Let's see, but has not handled end user code. Sequence contains no elements. Let's see, check if the Plaid account already exists. Include .where. Why is that complaining about that? Because I have a similar situation. Going on. I don't know how to use a debugger, and I've been coding for 6 years. Some people don't use them. That's what's interesting is it seems like in the NeoVim community, or like it seems like if you're in a dynamic programming language or you work more in a dynamic programming language, and you use tools like NeoVim, you're more than likely kind of not a debugger. You're more of a print statement debugger, very terminal CLI centric workflow, which is totally fine. But I personally started more on the IDE side when I was learning to code, and so I became a big fan of using a debugger, and I still am a big fan of it. Particularly, I love to debug tests because I think that's sometimes some of the best ways to really inspect your application logic without having to like do have some sort of have the app running and then do some manual actions. Like to me, it's much easier to just like automate a test that sets up the right state, performs the action, and asserts on the state, and then just debug into that. To me, is a much better workflow. Okay, so it's complaining because the user's sequence has no properties. Now, why doesn't it complain about that when we do this? That's the question. Because we basically have the same exact test right here, and this one runs successfully. So why are you complaining over here about that? Oh, I know why you're complaining. Because of the method I called. Right? Yep. This should be single or default. All right, try again. What bro doing? Actually, it's exclamation point. What bro doing? I don't even know if it's up to date right now. It might not be up to date. So, but I think it is. What we're doing right now is we're trying to figure out. Oh, look, they all passed. What we're doing right now is we're trying to figure out how to use the Plaid API to allow our users to connect bank account information to my app. And when I say users, I mean me and my wife, because that will be probably the only people who ever use this application. Okay. So now we want to test the happy path. So that's the sad path. Now we'd like to test the happy path. Oh, actually, we need to test this path. So if there are any accounts that match the criteria that we specified up here, we should see a conflict be returned. Oh, sorry, Dark Flamaster. It looks like this. It looks like this. What bro doing? Exclamation point. What bro doing? I think we can add this test. We'll just copy pasta the test from over here. Let's do connect test. Oh, that's way not the right one. We want this test. Oh, why am I doing this in VS Code? You can just do this in NeoVim. Let's jump back to the connect test. And then let's jump to this test down here. Let's copy all this guy. Let's jump over to our add test. Just jump down here. Let's center this. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to set up a user and an account. And I guess probably an institution too. So we'll just set up all those. So we have our institution. Why is this complaining? Institution does not contain a definition for from. Well, yes, it does. Oh. Using institution equals fit. This is why I wanted to come up with a different name for these things, but I'm committed now, so we're stuck. Oh, hold on. There you go. Okay. So then what we'll do is we will say, now we'll create an account, and we'll say var account equals account.from, which doesn't exist, var metadata equals plaid account metadata. Doesn't exist either. I think this will be some account. This will be plaid account metadata. This. And then we have a couple of different ways we can do this, but the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to say user.add account. And then this, and there's like I said, there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could also have like, you could also do like institution, and then add the account to the institution. There's a few different ways we could end up creating these objects through Entity Framework based on how we want to do how we want the access patterns to be. But I think this is fine for now. And then we save. So now we need to declare some of these static methods for object creation. What did I just do? Nope, don't want to do that. I think this thinks we're using the plaid account. Yeah, okay, so we need to change that. Knoxville, it's bugging me that the browser window is getting so much space when it's doing nothing. Yeah, it's because I stream vertically, Knoxville. I stream vertically on YouTube, and I try to restrict myself to just coding on the screen that YouTube can see, and then I use the browser window to show other stuff, the things I don't care. Things I don't really care, things that I don't think add a lot of context or value to the coding. I mean, we could have like, with this would be so internet culture. We could have like a Minecraft speedrun video. Minecraft speedrun. How about that? We just do this. We could just have these looped. You guys, while I code, we just play Minecraft speedrunning videos on the side. I don't know. Maybe we need to come up with some other interesting thing as a placeholder here, because I do agree it's just a bunch of empty space for the Twitch viewers. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. That. So I need to declare a method here called public static. Oh, it's 7:15. All right. Well, that's all I'm going to be able to get to today. No Minecraft. New format unlocked. Put chat over there bigger. Oh, we could. I mean, I could put this guy. I could put the streamer bot chat over there. Like that. But then you just kind of see it double. Well, I guess actually I could hide it from the I could hide it from, let's see. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Because I could actually take the chat off the vertical window. Or the horizontal window. Do you guys want to try that? Alright, we'll try that tomorrow. Let me see if I remember. There's chat. So we'll just remove the overlay from this scene. Okay. We can do that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That does give me more space on my other monitor. Now I can go full screen, full ultra wide mode. All right, guys. I think it's time for me to go to work and to get more coffee because I only drank 1 cup of coffee on stream today. Sounds good. Watching stream on my phone and TV right now. Very cool. Well, there we go. We'll just do that then. We'll just keep chat on the main screen. Although now when I read chat, it's going to look like I'm looking over here, but I promise I'm I'm paying attention.
I like to say something.
We need a bye-bye emote.
Okay, we can get one of those. Yeah, for sure. Bye-bye emote. Yeah. What is the front-end tech stack? Mooey, I don't have a front-end yet. I think the front-end tech stack's going to be some sort of JavaScript framework, and I think right now we're thinking about using Solid.js or their full-stack framework. Solid Start, I think, is their full-stack framework. But we haven't set on one yet. Oh, hey, Oblivion. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Front-end tech stack is your imagination. That's right. That's right. You just use your imagination. No, we're gonna add a front end. I just also Pablo, good to see you, man. I know the stream is kind of a the stream time is difficult for you. So thank you, man, for stopping by here at the end. 2.0 is going to get released soon. Ooh, that's exciting. You're probably wrapping out. We are. I am getting ready to wrap up, but that's okay. I'm glad to see you. Mooey, yeah, or Angular? I don't know. Angular seems like you're writing C# code on the front. It's Angular feels like you're writing some form of .NET code, but in JavaScript. I've never written any Angular. I've only read it, and it looks Angular looks very boilerplatey. Brain dead. Well, I appreciate that, Pablo, very much. Yeah, but the recent version is really cool. Okay, well, maybe Angular. No, I think I want to use. I originally wasn't going to use any new technology for this project, but Bob Knoll kind of convinced me that maybe I should give Solid.js a try. So Angular with signals is fine. Okay, I haven't tried Angular at all, so I guess I would be.
Did we just become best friends?
Thank you very much for the sub, man. Appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Well, it's kind of Vue-ish. Ooh, well, I like Vue. I like Vue. That was my original plan, was just to use Vue. I wasn't going to use any new anything that I didn't know how to use, but but Bob kind of convinced me to use Solid, which I'm sort of hesitant about because this is an application I care a lot about because it is something I'm going to use very heavily to manage a very important aspect of my life. So I kind of want the tech stack to be something that I enjoy working with because I do plan to continue to work on it for a while. Ooh, TypeScript. Everything should be TypeScript by default. Yeah, what Pablo said. Everything should be TypeScript by default. 100%. All right, guys. Well, I'll do my normal wrap up here. If you're new here and you want to come back and hang out again in the future, I'm normally live on Twitch and YouTube. Whoops, that's not the right command. Schedule. I'm normally live here on YouTube and Twitch 4:15 to 7 a.m. every morning. Sometimes I'll go a little bit longer on the weekends if there's nothing going on. And then if you want to hang out outside stream, the best place to find us is Discord. And I'll put the Discord links in the chat there. It's just discord.stevenfreeborn.com. No pressure to join, but if you'd like to, you're more than welcome. Pablo, I just arrived. Steven, come on. Yeah, I would love to stay and hang out. Unfortunately, the stupid money, the rent. People want rent, and apparently I have to come up with the money to pay the rent. Can you believe that? It's ridiculous. See you, Oblivion. Bye, Duck Boy. I know. I can't believe it either. It's a travesty. It's a travesty. Yeah. Have a good Friday too, man. I'm glad I didn't get to talk to you for a little bit. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, you enjoy your weekend as well, man. I hope it's a good one. All right, chat. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Bye. See you guys.